are not.
Okay.
And
HamCon's an official ARL event, but it's a convention, though.
Mitch is the Vermont State Convention, but this is not a convention. This is a ham fest, by the definition.
How many festers have you been to in your lifetime?
Oh my gosh. Well, in the old days when we used to go to those little festers in Rome, New York, remember that one?
I got pictures.
With Tony. Oh my God.
I went to, let's see, Dayton Hamvention. Dayton Hamvention is like, it's like, you know, people who are Muslim, they make the pilgrimage, the Hajj to Mecca. That's Mecca. What hams do. Yeah. I started that in 81, and I did it every other year till about 87, and I've been there going ever since. And I had to yell at them. They didn't give me the right flea market spot. You know, you don't give someone the wrong flea market spot out there. That's a big deal. And I said, I've been coming here for like 50 goddamn years, you know, and he straightened it out for me. So that, I've been doing this since 79. I think it was the year after they moved from Seabrook to this place.
76 is the first one I came here, was their first one here. 76.
And we've been doing HamCon / Milton since 81. 81, yeah. So so I said, well, what do? You buy everything? I said, I go to visit all my old stuff. Everything you see here, I've once owned at one time, and I bought it and sold it. So I like to visit it. Like to commune with my schmeg, as we like to say. And I've been to Horseheads. Have you ever been to Horseheads?
No, I've been to the other end, but not that.
Yeah. That's a nice show also. But you were the Gaithersburg, the old.
Oh, I used to love Gaithersburg.
Yeah.
That was Gaithersburg, Maryland was in the Washington, D.C. area. They used to get a lot of government stuff there. Stuff you wouldn't see anywhere else, or with big bucks on it. I remember buying a KWM-2A at Gaithersburg for $150.
And I met Mitch last night, who runs the MIT Fest. Yeah, the MIT Fest is everything that used to be in MIT gets snuck out the back door and shows up in this parking garage where they sell it.
Well, a lot of that stuff people bring too. Yeah. It's not really affiliated with MIT other than it's on their property. And the money that they raise from that goes to the 3 radio clubs that they have at MIT and Harvard. They kind of got a consortium there. But that's a lot of computer stuff. It didn't start out as computer stuff, but it is, which is fine because they can keep that here. We don't want computer stuff here. We're a radio event, and we want to keep it that way. But the thing is that I guess we're trying to say here in so many words is that it's a cultural thing and it's a social thing as well as just a place to go to buy and sell stuff and make money. We come here to see our friends.
Yeah. Spend more time talking to people.
Schmoozing and...
chewing the fat.
Yeah, and making trouble. Michigas.
Yes, because you can buy stuff online now. I mean, that's...
yeah, you don't have to come here.
So one of the things we do, like when someone's trying to buy something and they're buying a radio and they put it on invariably on 5.2 to try out a 2-meter FM radio. Well, I pull up the HT, punch it on 5.2. Don't buy this radio. It's a piece of garbage. It's called Michigas, which is the Yiddish word for making trouble. Making trouble. Which we are both we're very well versed in.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, we can talk about that. That was legal.
What happened to your key over there? I bet you got it cheap because it's missing the number 2 key.
No, it used to have the key, and no, the keyboard crapped out. And the keyboard he got to replace it with, the used one, didn't have that.
I see, but now at least if you push that in.
Yes, I spend more time fixing computers than I do fixing radios, it seems like. But yeah, that's so just to show our hands, how many of you guys are kind of like newbies and been doing this only for a few years? How many guys have been doing this for like more than 20 years? All right, so we got a mixed bag in there.
You guys know what we're talking about. It's so much fun, though. You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, it's like I said, it is a cultural thing. It's a fun thing.
One thing you never have, though. There's never enough flat space.
Oh.
You can't buy flat space.
You mean like tables and stuff?
Yeah, we have no more flat space left in our place.
Oh,
yeah.
We don't have enough flat space.
Well, that's you. You have a full attic, a full basement, a full garage full of stuff.
Oh, it's just, it's crazy.
He's like like the biggest seller on eBay or whatever. You know?
Oh, that's not true.
You talk about people who will sell you garbage. I remember looking on eBay, and he had a box from a Drake 2 NT, which was a receiver or the transmitter, just the box. And he asked for $5, and you got it. That's like
Plus shipping.
Plus shipping.
Well, but the original box is good to have because it adds value to it. If you have the original box for something, I see it all the time. Original box. Well, that's good. I think I did. It was an auction. Yeah, of course, because it has value. I don't even have the radio. But I think I bought something at a flea market and the guy put it in the 2NT box. So I brought the 2NT box. Well, this is not going to throw this away. But, ham radio is, for many people, it means stuff, lots of stuff. There's only one hobby that I know that has more stuff. And that is the antique automobile people. Because they got big stuff and dirty stuff and rusty stuff. But
I got 8 accordions.
Accordions? Okay. You're on your way.
I got like a dozen guitars.
Yeah, Bob he collects watches, but watches don't take up a lot of room.
Watches don't
That's
take
easy.
up any room. Clocks take up more room. I collect clocks.
No, but he just watches though.
Watches? Some watches are beautiful. I mean, you look at some of these high-end watches, you can get watches for $25,000, $30,000.
Oh, I know.
Oh, easily, and more. Yeah. Some of the Omegas and the Rolexes, the early collectible ones, they go for 5 and 6 figures. They auction them. Big money.
You got to be scary to wear them.
It's like sometimes it's scary to drive an antique car. But we do it.
So I was playing through the computer and pulled some stuff out of the Wayback Machine.
Oh,
The old sign for the relaxation area, right? This going back a few years.
Ostrators.
How come you should have got that? The barrel.
Well, we didn't.
The old barrel, right?
I don't know what they did with it. The Greek gourmet.
No, I knew I had this picture somewhere.
That's a great picture.
So back in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah, early 80s.
A lot of times we'd come to Nearfest, or back then it was horse traders, and it was like freaking cold, like it is.
Like this.
Like this is nothing. You should have been here last night, man. It was so cold, your feet would freeze to the ground. And so this Greek gourmet thing, I guess they serve Greek delicacies during the fair, but they weren't here. But when they locked the building up, they didn't fold the hasp over. So we just got the Phillips screwdriver and just unscrewed 2 screws and got in there and instantly turned the oven on. So we were nice and warm. And other people out sitting there, sleeping bag under a telephone pole, whatever, freezing to death. But the beauty of this thing is that you can open this thing up right in the middle there, and we would sell right from in there. We had our own selling space.
We had Timmy in there with us. 2007. Yeah.
This is like early 80s.
Early 80s, when it was horse traders in the fall. They started doing horse traders in the fall, around 82, 83, I think. And this was in the fall, I remember, because it was cold. And we had that poor guy that was sitting up in the bleachers, and we thought we were going to find him in the morning, like dead.
So this became, some cinnamon shack or something, and then a tree fell down over it. It was well jinxed after that. And this is Bill. Remember Big Bill?
Big
Into
Bill from
F&H. He's selling, this is what it looked like right inside the Greek Gourmet there. With HW101, I think he's selling there with the D104. All sorts of great stuff.
He's a silent key now. Oh, that's Slimatron. We don't want to go into that, do we?
So this is Timmy doing a Slimatron, and yes, we can give you instructions on how to make one after the talk, after the cameras are turned off and
the audio turned off.
And So what do you use a slimatron for? It's used in the production of heavy olein. And I guess that's really all we need to say about that.
That's all we need to say, but it's rather disgusting, actually.
This is Kurt. You see him, he's right across from Angelino's there. I sold him this big, giant 4-bay dipole, 22 feet long, and here he is riding back to his truck with this on his bicycle. And I would say that it wouldn't be a good idea to get in his way, because this is definitely a Sir Lancelot moment.
Oh, there's QWA1, QWT with his.
I didn't know what his call sign is, but I remember the horny guy.
It's W1 QWT now, but he was WA1 QWT, and that was his Ghost of E.F. Johnson helmet at a Hamfest. He's still around. He's still.
Oh, is he around? He doesn't come here anymore, though.
Oh, yes, he does. Of course he does.
But I don't recognize him without the horns.
No, I don't think he's here today, but he doesn't like to miss it. Oh, good old Q.
Now, you remember there was a shooting in the New York City subway about 30, 40 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there he is.
And this guy kept getting messed with by these teenagers, and he blew him away. He shot him. And I guess they all lived, but they didn't mess with anyone after that. And his name was Bernard Hugo Getz, or Bernie, or Bang Bang Bernie, we used to call him. Yeah. And he was a regular here at Horse Traders. And in fact, yeah, right. No, he's not a ham. That's him there, and he liked New Hampshire. In fact, when he turned himself into the police, it was the Concord PD he turned himself into, right up the street from here. But yeah, no, he worked on the police radios in New York City, and so he collected a lot of stuff like that, and he would show up here. So I figured, let me snap a picture.
Sure.
He's famous. I haven't seen him many years.
I've seen him at MIT a few times. He comes up with one of the vendors.
Oh, okay.
Peter from New York.
Yeah, I got a question for you. At the MIT flea, I've never been there. But did you say that MIT is passing a lot of equipment from their electronics labs and physics labs are coming out in that flea meet? You see that stuff here, plus what other hands bring to it?
I think it's mostly what people bring to it, actually. It's the venue. But some of this stuff has come out of the dumpsters at MIT, and they've thrown some really good stuff in the dumpsters there. I mean, I found stuff at MIT that, wow. You know, I collect military clocks, and I have chronometers in the box with the gimbals and everything. I found 2 Hamilton chronometer boxes with the gimbal mounts at MIT of $25 each. They're worth $500 each at least.
In La Jolla, California, University of California, San Diego, UCSD, has a big warehouse, and they divide it in half. Everything that they don't want goes into one half of the warehouse, while everything on the other side of the warehouse you can bid on, and then after that bid closes, then you can bid on that side, and you're constantly passing all the equipment that goes out of UCSD passes through that warehouse, which I really like a lot. I like to see them do that. I like to see them do that at Yale.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff kicking around, you know.
Recycle that stuff, you know. People like us can do something with it. Otherwise, it just winds up, you know, in military surplus sales, and it usually is so much that we can't really buy it.
But you find great stuff, and they don't know, they just want to get rid of it. And you find stuff like, in themselves, the chronometer boxes are useless. But if you have a chronometer that doesn't have the box, you put that in there, and all of a sudden you got a $1,500 to $2,000 item.
Yeah.
And I found all kinds of wonderful stuff at the MIT flea. I've seen the Norden bomb sight. I've seen anything, you know, electronic there. Tom Pereira picked up a couple of spy sets there. They didn't know what it was. Picked up a Mason surveillance receiver. They're worth about $2,000. I think he paid $200 for it, something like that.
I picked up a 4-channel spectrum analyzer out of the UCSD sales area, and I can't think of the name of the people who made it, but it originally sold for like $200,000 for this particular model, and I got it for $200, so it works perfectly.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can find. There's a picture of some.
Can we put our screen up? I'm sharing, but I don't see it.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Am I still in the meeting?
Okay, those three.
So the guy in the middle is Jerry. It used to be WA1T.
TZV.
TZV.
Zango,
and he was one of the staff here.
Yeah,
this is from the 70s, I believe.
Yeah, at Charlotte.
I first met Jerry. He was big into meteor scatter. And the Charlotte Hamfest was right during the Perseids meteor scatter, and he had these kilowatt in the back of his Volkswagen microbus and all this stuff in there, and he had this dog called A Pig, and he setting up all this weird stuff. And I wasn't a newbie, but I wasn't licensed very long, and I was thinking, what kind of weirdos did I get myself involved with? And he's always pushing the envelope there, certainly. Now, the guy to his left is Henry, V2EGZ, and of course that's going to lead us right into Henry's story. I made the critical mistake. By the way, the Hamfest is nothing. It's the trip going to the Hamfest and back which counts. That's where the story really happens. So we go out in Henry's van, and it's like just a Econoline van. There's 4 of us in there, and no seats in the back. We're sitting in beach chairs. Not exactly safe, but we didn't think about it.
But it was in the 80s, and they weren't as uptight as they are today.
And, of course, I did the stupid thing of going up from Vermont into Canada and then coming back, crossing back to come into Rochester, New York. So kind of a circuitous way involving 2 border crossings.
4.
And
2 and 2.
so yeah, on the way out, we got pulled over by the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, and right away, where's the drugs? Where's the drugs? Of course, we don't have drugs. We're hams. We just have a lot of junk in the back, you know. And they kind of searched through all the radio gear and whatever there, and it was kind of fun.
I remember that cop. There were 2 Ontario Provincial Police cops. One of them was at the driver's side questioning Henry, and the other one looked like Porky Pig. he had a OPP hat, and he had his hair going down. He really... we
respect law enforcement, but he really did look...
He looked like he had a pig face, and we tried to keep a straight face. And he says, "You have any alcohol?" Henry says, "No."
He said, where's the drugs? I know you got the drugs. Where's the drugs? No, we don't got any.
We don't got
Maybe tomorrow, not today.
There's alcohol. I said, "Listen, we're going into the United States where alcohol is half the price in Canada. You think we're taking alcohol to the United States? Think about it." "Oh, all right, you can go." You know. But no, and the other guy is Marty. The 2 of them, Henry and Marty, were like an inseparable team. And they were, well, let's put it this way, they like to have their bottle with them. And if you look at them, you can see that those 3 guys are...
Yeah, I don't think they're half in the bag. I think maybe 3/4.
All in the bag.
So we're driving back from Rochester, New York. So again, you got to drive a little bit on the thruway, and then you got to go up 81 and cross by the Thousand Islands. So I started driving, and Henry has this big 1-gallon flask of wine that he's working on. I pay no attention. I'm driving. And we get pretty close to the border up by the Thousand Islands. And I look at the gallon of wine, and it's empty. And I point to this other guy. "Did you drink it?" He goes, points to Henry, and I go, "Oh, shit. We have a border crossing. We have 1 naturalized Canadian citizen, 1 foreigner. I'm U.S., he's Canada, and we already got a complicated situation. We got a lot of stuff we're bringing across that they have to collect duty on, and Henry is 3 sheets to the wind. It's like, I don't think we're going to make it out of here." And then on top of that, Henry tries to pick up the customs agent, who was this female, and no, Henry, don't do that. So we get through that, and Henry hops in the front seat. I drive. And the bridge that goes across the Thousand Islands is about as wide as this table, maybe. And both Mike and I are looking down, we're going to die. Absolutely. And I drive good. And so finally it gets a little bit down 401. And I said, I had enough of this crap. And it was an old type car. You just shut the key off and pull it out, and the car just coasts to a stop.
The steering wheel didn't lock, you see.
So I just took the keys away, and Henry just threw a fit, and it's like everyone's yelling and screaming. And the name of the show is called Mutiny on 401.
401.
It was on 401, and we had this big fight, whatever. And finally, we told Henry he wanted to drive. I drive, and he drives away, goes 50 feet, stop. Okay, you'll drive. And that son of a bitch watches as both of us are trying to drive the car with toothpicks in our eyes because we're falling asleep.
But the stories, I mean, the fun that we had with this.
We did one when we out on the way out to Dayton. The guys didn't have the right connector to put their radio on. And so we passed them a connector at speed on the thruway. You weren't in for that one.
No.
I had this tripod, and we extended the tripod, going 65 miles an hour, shoved the thing out the driver's window, and they catch it and whatever. And the guy behind said, what did that look like from back there? He says, you don't want to know. We had another one. I have a repeater in my car. I have it here on site, too. And we met up with the guys from Syracuse. They had a repeater in their car. And we were trying to link the two repeaters together. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. I think you'll even like the next picture.
But you remember this stuff, Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A guy sends out a picture to our club reflector and includes this. And I'm on the right side of the picture there, second from the right. And
that's a long time ago.
I says, God damn.
Hair.
I had hair, yeah. It was black, too. And you guys are going to ruin my rack. This thing was called Rolling Rock. I think Rolling Rock 7 or something like that. And named after the fact that that's what was consumed. And both me and Tony, who's next to me, we don't imbibe in any of this stuff. And this is like, this guy, Gary, right?
N2INR, now W2INR.
He had this AM station. He had like a Gates console running it, and the transmitter's in the back. And so these are all like AMers. And, we can tell you stories about AMers on this site, too. And one of the guys said he renamed it. It's called Men Behaving Badly. Gary wisely sent his family away, and we slept over. This was like really horrible. And they snapped a picture, and there I am. Timtron is in the back. You look right in the back center.
There's Timmy, yeah.
There's
right
Timmy there.
PW Fallon.
Tom N2SQO is behind Tony. All the way on the right. I don't know some of the other guys, but was...
PW, there's the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister.
Dale. What's this called? V3 AMM. Call him the Prime Minister. Why do we call him the Prime Minister? Because at the time, the Prime Minister of Canada was a guy named Jean Chrétien, French-Canadian, and he had a very heavy accent, and Dale had a similar accent, so we used to call him the Prime Minister.
So...
He grossed out my wife at Gaithersburg one time. This guy pulls into Gaithersburg on Saturday afternoon, and we're all standing around. He jumps out of the car, and he's got one of these big quart-sized bottles of Canadian beer, and he goes...
chugging it.
The look on her face. But he didn't care. The characters, all of them, every one of them. And that's what makes this hobby so much fun, is the characters.
One of the things we do when we go out to like Dayton, so it's from my house, it's a 13, 14-hour trip, is you try to convoy with other people. They're coming from different directions or whatever. You try to meet up at some spot and you get on 5-2 and you carry on a show on the radio on there. And that's what you remember from the show, not so much from the show itself. But there's a plethora of characters out there, and there are more characters per square inch at this show than just about anywhere else.
I would say that's accurate.
Yeah, because we did some of our nonsense out at Dayton, and they were mortified.
Well, remember the far out repeater? They have a repeater there called the far out repeater.
It wasn't that far out.
They weren't that far out, because we caused them to shut it down with those tapes.
Well, they didn't shut it down. Oh, yeah. So the Lester, I tell you, is Tony there, all the way on the right. He had a habit of, he would insert really naughty words in the middle of a sentence, but totally out of context, and you didn't know what you heard. If you drop a word in the middle, you think it's like noise level, whatever. So we're in Dayton, and we're kind of trying to find our way around, and they have this street near where the Hamfest is called Siebenthaler Avenue. And we're looking for directions, and Tony gets on there. Yeah, we're lost. We're near the shit kicker road here or something, right on the repeater. And the guy says, "Oh, you mean Siebenthaler?" Yeah. he just did not get taken off by it at all. But right on the talking repeater in Dayton.
Tony could absolutely destroy a whole group, and nobody would even know that he did it. He was so good at that kind of stuff. We used to listen to Tony, and we knew it was coming. And sure enough, he never disappointed us.
No.
And a lot of the people it went right over their heads. But you know, these are the kind of guys you want to go to Hamfest with because you have so much fun. It may sound juvenile, and it is. But what the hell?
What's juvenile? That's like that's a value judgment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, crying into your phone on Facebook, "Oh, the world's terrible." Is that juvenile? I mean, really, we had fun.
We had fun. We have memories.
We still have fun.
We still have fun. Now we do win. That's the thing. The inmates are running the asylum here. They really are. Because, you know, and Timtron, WA1HLR, coined that phrase once in one of Bert's videos. And we liked it so much, we made it the motto of the Hamfest. The inmates are running the asylum now. They really are. So, does anybody have any questions? You guys?
We did that in the beginning.
Well,
no,
it
about
only
10
takes 2
minutes.
It only takes 2 minutes. Well, we all have our own secret ways of doing it.
I've seen you get some really good deals.
Yes, you have, haven't you? I remember.
We can tell them stories about Bert, B2BMQ. He'd come here with a wagon. He would come here like at 6. This thing used to open at 6 in the morning, right? He'd come here with a wagon. He'd fill that thing up by 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had to wake up. They didn't do it on Friday. They only did it on Saturday, right? Yeah. Or no, I think it was Friday morning.
Friday morning.
And at 7 in the morning, Bob or one of those guys would get on the bugle and play Reverie.
Yep.
He'd wake us up and say, "Oh shit, I better get out and start shopping, otherwise I'm going to miss all those deals."
I've seen you still here at such a price that we should have called.
That's why we're doing this for them. But it's an art, you know.
Yeah, it's, I find...
You were standing right beside me when I bought that. I mean, the guy had it for $450 and I offered him $400. Yeah, I mean...
First of all, at $450, it was a steal.
Of course it was.
You follow what I do. Never accept whatever the price is,
always offer. And you know what else?
Well, they set the price based on that, if they're smart.
Well, but he could have gotten double that for it.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like almost new KX2? And it also had, which I didn't even see till I got home, that $140 little antenna that they sell. It had that too. I sold it.
A guy was selling it for the E104 for $10 thing. I broke my rule. I just gave him $10.
Of course you did. I know where it'll be next week.
You shine it up and put it on the table.
I wound up buying 4 over the whole.
Well, Bert doesn't put it on the table. He puts on QRZ.
I need one. I do need one.
Yeah, okay. You need 1 and you got 10, right?
So
The meter on that thing.
You're pretty good at yourself, you know.
Yeah, I could have done it.
Of course you are. I mean, it's a cultural thing, you know.
He wanted 75, and I offered him 30. He wound up selling it for 40.
yeah.
I have 2 B&K dual power supplies at home, and I want to get rid of them because they have some batteries. And so I'm looking it up, and they're selling for $50 each on eBay. Not asking, they're selling for those. Someone had one out on the table there, $10, take it away, working perfectly. That's the kind of deal. That's the kind of deal you can get when you come here.
Did you buy it?
No, I got 2
Well, I know, but for $10, how could you?
Now you have 3. He who dies with the most toys wins.
Actually,
That's the prime directive.
What I like to say is, he who wears out most toys.
He dies with the most toys. He's a big problem for wife.
But it's not your problem.
Well, but you don't want to see your stuff end up in the dumpster.
He's got a good collection. And then, you can't
Tell him about the Schmeg house.
Oh my God. Oh my God, the Schmeg house. This was 95. There was a guy.
Wow, that long ago?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
95. It was the same weekend, Labor Day weekend, that eBay was started as the auction web, that we got the Schmeg deal. The guy died the year before. The house
And he wasn't a ham.
He wasn't a ham.
He just came here and bought everything.
Oh, he used to buy everything at Hoss Traders. I once saw him when they had the metal dumpster. He was in the dumpster. And these guys brought this 33 KSR teletype machine. They were going to throw it in. I said, hey, John, get the hell out of there, will you? And he stuck his head. He says, no, don't throw that in here. Put it in my car. The house was full.
Do you ever go on YouTube and watch Mr. Carlson's lab, where he gets all this incredible gear, and he goes through it, fixes it all up, and shows it up there, and then he just moved into his new house. He has a large garage with many rooms loaded with all kinds of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. I mean, rooms full of oscilloscopes,
This guy had all kinds of stuff. He wasn't married. In some rooms you couldn't even get in because there was a pile in the room. He had a stack of Watkins Johnson. John Roberts. Did you know him? He didn't have one. He lived in Merrimack, New Hampshire. We got the estate basically for clearing the house. He gave us all the stuff for clearing out the house. It took us like 4 months. And we found his military paperwork from his military career. He was in the Army. He was a nuclear weapons technologist. And the certificate from the school had a mushroom cloud on it. I still have that.
How do you know that when you're digging through the stuff, you won't have to blow up?
Well, we found some explosives there. In fact, I invited Dale, KW1I, to come down and look, because he had a lot of military stuff. Oh, Jesus, look at all this stuff. God damn it. You know, and it was fairly...
We got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming out, and I hope you're better festerers because of this, or at least can laugh a lot more.
That's right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You got a first aid department around here anywhere?